In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to visualize the trade partner weekly tactical meeting. I really hope that you're excited for this. In the previous two videos, I talked about the team weekly tactical and the strategic planning and procurement meeting. Those meetings were designed to set up the project management team so that they can enable the trade partners. Then the strategic planning and procurement meeting was to make sure that your master schedule and your procurement system enabled the trade partners. In this meeting, the trade partner weekly tactical is really designed to make sure that we are doing the work of the last planners with the last planners as a collaborative team. Let me talk to you about who's there first and foremost. So you will definitely, and I'll just put F's over here, you will have the foreman for your trade partners around the room. Typically the superintendent and the field engineers or assistant superintendents will be in the back so they can run the screen, but the foremen are around your conference room table and we have a jamming time. Now, one of the things that I love about this is this identify board over here. In fact, I'm going to mark this with a different color because this is super huge, okay? So I'm going to mark this blue. What I recommend having up here on this board is the zone maps for the project, and that can be either 2D or an axonometric expanded view of the project, but you're going to show it with zones. And then your logistics plan, and then probably your delivery schedule right here on this board. Before, and this is the genius part, before the trade partners ever start the meeting, they can literally come in here, and the purpose of this is for the trade partners to mark down any constraints and roadblocks on that board even before the meeting starts. That way you don't have to go around one by one and say, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? All of the talking, transferring, and mental context just wastes a lot of time. Your foreman can list on the boards visually in red marker what are the problems. Now, constraints, like I've talked to you about before, are things that constrain the system. Either the zones or the train tracks or the train of trades. Anything that's a part of the system design, how many zones we have, how the zones are configured, how the trade partners are packaged, crew sizes, those types of things, those are constraints. They're constraining the system. You can't eliminate takt wagons, you can't eliminate zones, you can't eliminate the number of zones that are within the proper range. You just can simply adjust them. They're permanent things. Roadblocks are things out ahead that can be removed, solved, fixed, that get out of your way, right? That's why it's called takt steering and control, because we want to steer the train of trades and we want to control the environment and clear it out, everything out of the way ahead of the train. So in this meeting, let me just talk to you about this. The purpose of this meeting is to do look ahead planning, okay? Which, if you remember in the other videos, is all about making work ready. Do I have the people, the plan, the resources, the tools, the equipment, the materials, the permissions, the layout, everything that I need to go do the work? And if you don't, identifying roadblocks, right here, identify board. Okay, so then you create a weekly work plan, not from whole cloth like most of the lean industry does, but from the norm level takt plan as a filter, and then adjust it from there for both of these. And then you can actually do any other problem solving. I would say then you IDS. Okay, so those are the main purposes of the meeting. So let me talk about how this flows. So before the meeting, the trade partners come in, they identify on your identify boards any constraints or roadblocks, okay? Then you, as a part of the meeting, will come up here and pull up your norm level takt plan. And in your norm level takt plan, you will automatically have your look ahead, and then you can actually pull up your weekly work plan either on the left screen, or you can have the weekly work plan on the right. But I would also say that you can pull up other visuals like your model, you know, or anything else, pictures, anything else that you might want to see. But the bottom line is you must have the norm level takt plan the look ahead filter and the weekly work plan filter in order to do this meeting. So these wonderful, beautiful human beings in here will see the problems and then say, okay, we know about these problems. Let's go ahead and make oh my gosh, this is so good, a realistic plan based on the reality of the job site, okay? So you'll go through and you'll look ahead 6 weeks. And this is the key. In this meeting, actually time it. Like say, all right, I'm going to give you 5, 10, 15 minutes, trade partners. And you can even have the look ahead plan filter from the actual norm level takt plan, like printed out in front of the trade partners and say, hey, we got 5, 10, 15 minutes. Please, please, please look at every single one of your work packages, every single one of your activities, every single takt wagon that you're a part of, and ask yourself, and sometimes actually I like to have the list up here of do you have the labor, the tools, the materials, the equipment, the permissions, the layout, the information, right? You can just trigger them. Hey, as you look, or you can have it actually printed out on the conference room table here, that little list, and ask the trade partners, hey, look at this look ahead that has come from your pull plan, that was an ad hoc meeting that you already weighed in, bought in to. It's a part of the last planner system. This is your production plan. Look out the next 6 weeks, please, the next 5, 10, or 15 minutes, and find something, a constraint, a roadblock, an issue where you don't have all the things that you need, okay? And some of them will just like get, and this isn't disrespect, and anybody who knows me knows that I love foremen, but a lot of times they've been taught to just sit down and shut up and not say anything. So they might, get on their phone, type, or, do whatever, or sit back, or arms folded, and then you're like, no, please, vulnerably, I need to find what's in your way so I can help you. And then once the trade partners get used to this after a couple of weeks, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I guess they really do care. So force the issue of bringing those problems out. And then you guessed it, when you're doing the look ahead planning, you can make adjustments here. So I'm going to do a squiggly line that says adjustments here and continue to write the problems on the board. This is genius. Okay. Then once you feel like you have a good look ahead plan and any collaborative adjustments have been made, then you go right in to your weekly work planning. Okay? So inside the weekly work plan, you automatically have all of it pulled down with the adjustments, and you show the handoffs. And then you look at, because you're not creating it from whole cloth, because you're not wasting time in the meeting coordinating everything, because that's already done, because you're using the takt production system, then you can talk about handoffs, coordination, issues, what each trade partner needs from each other, right? Real how type questions, not when. We already know when. We already did the pull plan. Let's talk about the how type questions. And what you really want to do, this is such a good video. Oh my gosh, this is so good. If somebody brings up an issue in the weekly work plan, and like this foreman will say, hey, superintendent, can you please have this foreman, move a bunk of plywood out of my way? Then you say, hey, lovingly, I appreciate you guys. You're both in the room, or guys or gals, sorry. You're both in the room. Why don't you look at each other and make that commitment and strengthen the bonds of the team and not become the bottleneck, the roadblock, or use your emotional capital to get these things done. So you're going to build those relationships together. So you'll adjust your weekly work plan. So again, the look ahead plan is to make work ready and to find issues that can be solved, okay? The weekly work plan is specifically to have the trade partners enjoy an environment where they can commit, and then obviously find issues and talk about, and I'm just going to say handoffs, okay? Because handoffs are the most key thing, right? So you've done that. Then you can spend most of your time, 90% of the meeting, and actually I'll circle this in red because it's so brilliant. You can spend most of your time identifying, discussing, and solving problems. So that's this board, okay? So we've made realistic plans around the reality, but we don't want to realize the reality. We want to do better. So identify, discuss, solve, okay? And that should be most of the the meeting right here. Identify, discuss, solve, okay? That should be most of the meeting because we already know when something's going to happen. The trade partners are already working on making their work ready. We should mostly already know where the problems exist. Our weekly work plan and our look-ahead plan are automatically filtered and adjusted. It takes very little time. The discussions back and forth, let's have them, but it takes very little time. What we need to be doing is clearing the path out ahead. That is where flow comes from in construction, not from rushing and pushing and panicking. So if you've done this properly, the trade partner weekly tactical, which I typically have on Tuesday. So Monday morning, the team weekly tactical. Monday afternoon, the strategic planning and procurement meeting. Tuesday afternoon is the team weekly tactical. I can end up with a look ahead plan and a weekly work plan that takes me out to the next 2 Fridays. That really is a beautiful plan with most of the issues solved. If I've done this right, then, and this is, oh my gosh, this is so good. You will leave with your look ahead plan and your weekly work plan correct so that you can then go do your day planning on a daily basis in your foreman afternoon huddles that happen daily. So this is how you visualize that meeting, and you can see the boards are flowing from left to right, and these 2 TV screens are very, very dynamic. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.